Hello there, fellow summoners. Mad Dog HT here, and we are jumping into season 27. We're already 1 week in. I'm trying to get caught up on some of this stuff. First war, we were up against NxTP2, Untainted TP2. Quite an interesting name. And yeah, so we're going up path 1 in section 1. This is node 4 with Vigorous Assault and Arc Overload. And it's got Sabretooth. Now if you saw, we have the global Alliance War Regenerator. So whenever this guy gets a regeneration effect, whether it's from the Arc Overload or from his passive abilities, he can get up to 2 stacks of those power gains. And this is my first time ever seeing this global played, and I'm glad I brought Doom because this guy just basically has 2 bars of power, the 2 power gains the whole fight. And yeah, it gets kind of crazy with the Sabretooth. Luckily, we can get to an L3, kind of get into the Doom cycle, and nuke this guy down and not have any real problem. But without somebody that can consistently power control, that fight could get really nasty. And I think pretty generally, no matter what node you're on, if you don't have power control, you're going to be in big hurt. So next up, we got node 13. This has Masochism and Indomitable. Again, Alliance War Regenerator node is coming into play because Magik she's one of those champs that can heal. And this person was running suicides. I did go in with this one because after that one I was like, I'm gonna definitely have to put Nova Flame on. I really didn't have any plans to use it elsewhere. And you can see when she goes into limbo, she gets those power gains, but you know, luckily she just melts super fast with Torch. Rank 3 Torch against a rank 5 Magik doesn't really stand much of a chance. And then next up, I had a buddy clear that Mole Man and with Apocalypse, and now we're going into this Power Snack, Backup Recovery, Outlast, node 22, mini boss, and we're going Thing versus Thing. Now the nice thing with Thing as an attacker for this node is Power Snack doesn't even come into play. He totally overrides that node because Thing cannot be nullified. So if I can dex, I can get my unstoppable, my unblockable buffs, and I won't trigger any power gain whatsoever against this Thing, which is a rank 3. And this guy was also running suicides. They had a number of guys that were running suicides in their battle group, which is always well accepted and a pleasant surprise. So yeah, we're just gonna play this out pretty safe. Just make sure that we manage our combo to ensure that we are hitting him with 15 hits when he goes over a special 1. I was trying to build up some rock stacks and trying to get around that backup recovery, make sure he doesn't get to an L3, and we were able to get that sorted. The poison is quite significant. You know, it's doing 749 a tick, and he's only healing for 103, so decent damage. Just kind of letting it play out, and then you know 5% every time he throws a special. And I think here I'm going to throw a special 3 to push him over the 1 bar power, get to the 15th rock stack, but I think this might kill him. No, it doesn't. I think it's going to trigger protection coming out, yeah. And so we're just going to bait a special 1 and then combo him and he'll be dead. So he's at 9%. He'll throw a special 1, get 5% recoil. Now he's at 7%, 6%. 5% dead. So that was a really easy fight with suicides on. Thing can easily control and manage that fight, no problem whatsoever. And then we're still on our same boosts. I joined a little bit later, and we kind of had some guys all going together all at once. And the next Eccles, who took out that Mole Man, he's going to take out this core with his Apocalypse. He always does a great job. And now we're going up to node 24. This is E.M.P. Modification, Burden of Might, Enhanced Energy Damage, and Rolling Thunder. And yeah, Thing does really well here. Professor X, you know, if you do get tagged by this guy, you know, because his attacks are energy attacks, the enhanced energy node, it will hurt big time. So just need to pay attention to that falter counter. So he's going to go falter here, go in, whip attack, back off, and then just go back in. So here I do a quick L1 right after my first hit, because that Dex is going to fall off and the Burden of Might is going to steal my power. But you can get one hit and quickly throw off a special before the Burden of Might actually kicks in, because there's that split second where the Dex is still there before it falls off and like refreshes or whatnot. So we do that, convert some Furies, and basically do the same thing there. Do a quick parry, hit, special one. You know, this guy does have willpower on. The Incinerate that I have from the Human Torch synergy on the L1 is not super strong. Barely did any damage. Plus it has a weakness that also gets applied when you have, I think it's 20, it might be 15 rock stacks or more. And yeah, so we're just trying to bait this guy's special out. I could probably smash him, but we have to get rid of that falter and then go to town on him. You know, gotta watch out for, make sure those parries stick, because he has those energy attacks, can bypass, they're non-contacts, they can bypass the parry. But yeah, Professor X goes down. Thing's a great option for E.M.P. since he's shock immune. You can just kind of play normal. And then we're going to go up the middle, up path 2 in section 2. This is node 31. It's got the strike counter, combat power rate, and the power drain. And this blade has the Alliance, he's an Alliance War Regenerator champ. So at any time he heals, he also gets the power gain. So when he's under 70% and he holds that block, he can stack up 2 of those power gains. So I got to be really careful with that. I thought about bringing in Doom for this fight. And it probably would have turned out okay, but I just figured, you know, if I slipped up and I did push him to L3, I could trigger my protection with Thing and minimize, kind of eat the L3 damage if that came into play. And if I happen to mess up on like Dexing an L1 or something, you know, Thing is bleed immune, so I'm not going to bleed or take a lot of damage, where someone like Doom, he would take, you know, a pretty decent chunk. So I just felt that Thing was a safer option. And you can see, like, I just hit into the block once, he regened, and he triggered that power gain. And you know, you can trigger up to 2 of those, but that's it. So I'm trying to play kind of open, where I'm not holding my block. I don't want him holding his block. I don't want to tap him into his block, because I don't want to give him a bunch of power gain and then have to deal with that. You know, for the most part, I had been. You can see how I'm pumping the block, saying, "Come on, just come at me." I just don't want him holding that. And for the most part, I've been trying to minimize the strike counter fury, strike counter combat power rate suppressions. I've only gotten 2 of them, so I've been mixing up my combo, kind of doing that, and it's, you know, so far so good. I don't want to push him over L2, because I don't want those power gains to, you know, him to go passive and then get to L3. So I'm trying to bait out a special one, finally get it. I'm just gonna parry those, build up some more rock stacks, and we smash him down. So it wasn't a difficult fight, but I think you just got to be careful with those regens that he can trigger while he's under 30%. But Thing does a great job there, and we're going to move on to the next fight. And all of those fights that I did, those were all off the same boost. This one, we didn't have obviously energy to get there, and I just threw on I think a 15 or 10% attack boost. I got a bunch of those at the start of the season, and I just had a 10%, 10%. So this one has combat strike counter combat power rate, and stung once, twice shy. So when I get to a special one, I'm gonna get that power sting. I'm gonna wanna wait it out if you're gonna throw a special. But that's the problem is with, with guillotine on this node, she's gonna power drain you, and even if you dex it, or if you dex it, you get more power drained. If you block it, you get less. But you can see, like, I've already got the suppressions on. I can't get up to a special one, and yeah, so I'm just gonna be heavy slapping this one, this G99 down. This player does have suicides on. I don't think I noticed that until probably right about here, or maybe the next special, because obviously she's bleed and poison immune. I just wasn't paying attention when she was throwing the specials. But it is kind of nice that she does have that on, because the recoil is going to be taking 5% chunks, and yeah, and so I'm just gonna play with no power, heavy, make sure I get her knocked down, don't let her go invisible. I don't want to have to wait that out. The fight's long enough as it is. But yeah, this is a rank 3 guillotine, pretty tanky. Unfortunately, I could never get a special one off. If I could have done that, I could have got nullify on the special one, got some mystic dispersion power gain from taking out that L1. But the one thing that I thought was, if I keep heavying her and I have the staggers on, that when she gets to 15%, she won't be able to get the power gain. But if you check this out, boom, the power gain does show up, and it doesn't like immediately get staggered and nullified, so she did get a power gain. So luckily she didn't have enough, but just keep that in mind if you ever encounter this global, that pretty much that regen, unless Assassins is turning it off, if it gets triggered, it's going to trigger that power gain. And it's only one, so it's not like the biggest deal, but you just need to make sure she's not close to L3, and you'll be good. And there we go, Doom has his 2 fights, takes out the guillotine. His war is over, and we just have one more fight, and I took this a little bit later in the evening. This is Thing, polka dot power, stunning reflection, stun vulnerability. I haven't taken this fight in a long time, because Human Torch with Protect, the old global, he did not work well on this node. But without that on, Human Torch is a excellent counter for Thing. And I just do shorter combos. I try to extend combos to roll over that stunning reflection timer. You have pretty much on-demand incinerates with the mediums, and you get the first light gets an incinerate, and we just want to try to, as much as possible, keep incinerates on him so that we can get that damage, and then consistently turn off the stunning reflection timer, so that way we can stun as much as we want. We kind of slow that one out, do a full 5-hit combo, last hit medium, take down that stun reflection. And I think I'm going to throw the L3 after this when I parry him. Boom. I think I should have thrown the L3 right there, because we would have had the stun vulnerability, and we had plenty of rock stacks and stuff to deal with. But yeah, here we go. A few more hits. I think we finish off with the beautiful special 3. So that was a pretty clean fight. We're able to manage the rock stacks well, and yeah, we get the solo. And that was all my fights for this war and for this season. And for the videos that I'm going to be putting out, I'm going to be putting out the boss kill from RPG, just because I think it could be interesting. And I apologize on the quality. I'm getting this video via line, so it's a little bit pixelated, a little bit reduced in the quality. And so my teammate Jay Goody, he has a rank 3 awakened Cosmic Ghost Rider. Looks like he tried to go in there with an intercept and he backed off, but he has Cosmic Boost on, and you'll see, you know, this Killmonger goes down super quick and isn't a problem at all. It's gonna have that permanent armor break on from Killmonger being a villain, so there's reverb is never a question in this fight, and just play normal. And he's just cycling these L2s, basically getting back to L2 every single time. And yeah, he's like, oh, I over boosted for that fight. I'm like, no, that was perfect, safe, easy, worth it. Got the solo. And yeah, so our battle group did pretty good that war. I think we ended up with like 3 deaths, and we did win. It was a good job to NxTP2. And yeah, so for my stats on this war, I had 7 fights, 7 kills, no deaths, and obviously this is war 1, so that's my season stats as well. 7 fights, 7 kills, no deaths. We're 1-0 on the season. We have no idea where the points are at because there are no rankings yet, but it's a good start, and we'll see where we end up and what we can do for this season. But thanks for watching, and I'll have more videos out shortly. Thanks, peace out.